New England's kind of surprised at times. See the game against some Chicago Bears, but this team has some visible warts. So, what's your take here? Maybe it's on a player prop, a side, a total SGP. Pick pleasurably, my man. What do you like?
Yeah, so shout out to the Miami Dolphins because I am not a member of the Ramily. This team is a bunch of frauds, and I kind of actually wanted to take the Pats, but instead I'm going to play a player prop. It is juice minus 125, but I'm going to go with Puka Nacua over 5.5 receptions. Also looked at the receiving yards. That's 62.5. I'm just going to go with the receptions. The Patriots play a ton of man coverage, second highest rate this season. They are among right now, which is kind of surprising, top 5 in man defense and yards allowed per coverage. Target, though, 6.0. Yards allowed per coverage snap, 4.79. That's why I'm going to stay away with the yards. And I think there's going to be some underneath stuff available. I'll go to Puka as long as he doesn't punch somebody in the helmet before the game. But him and Cooper Kupp, both pretty damn good. They have strong target rates against man defense. But Puka, I was looking at fantasy purposes for the weekend. He actually leads the Rams in fantasy points per route run against man. He's 31st overall in the National Football League, and he's missed some time, right? So I'm going to go with Puka to have a game here, over 5.5 receptions. Minus 125 is the best price I found over at BetMGM, show sponsor. So let's go Puka, and I'm going to stay away from this one because I can see the Patriots keeping this game a little bit close, man. I'm a big McVay guy, but I feel like he's losing his mind a little bit the last couple weeks. The field goals, the in-game decision-making hasn't been great. And also, I'm a big Stafford guy, but he doesn't look right this season. It hasn't looked good, so I'm out on the Rams. I was in on them in the beginning of the season, out on the Rams, man.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford's made some really puzzling throws at times, and he's gotten picked off way too often this year. I mean, the roster's healthy. You have a dynamite running back and a true blue workhorse in Kyron Williams, who's been a touchdown scoring machine, and he got Cooper Kupp back, and he got Puka Nacua back. I mean, this roster's healthy. They should win and win convincingly, but I'm kind of feeling New England plus the points here, to be honest. I'm not saying the Rams are going to win this thing. They may win the sucker by, say, a field goal, but they're not covering the 4.5 as a result, and I would live in the land down under as well on the 43.5. I am going to back a New England Patriot in this game, and I'm going to go with Drake Maye. Now, I grabbed this at open at BetMGM a couple of days ago at 202.5 pass yards. It has now jumped to 209.5. I'm going to play it a tick higher, but I think he's going to be in that 210 to 215 range by the end of this game. So give me the over on Drake Maye, 209.5 pass yards at a minus 115 juice. Yeah, LAR is number 3 in pass EPA defense the last 5 weeks. However, on the season, they've given up 8.4 pass yards per attempt and 241.3 pass yards per game. A half dozen, 6 quarterbacks have cashed the over on 209.5 pass yards. And you look at Maye, yeah, he's only done this in 2 of 5 games. And sure, he's only number 27 in adjusted completion percentage, number 29 in ADOT. But he is a fearless guy, and he is going to throw passes early and often. And I'm actually hoping that the good version of the Rams shows up and blows them out early. Because that will raise the volume, that will force him into a high propensity to throw situation, and that will only increase the odds of the overhitting on 209.5 pass yards. Again, I got him in that 210 to 215 range there in the end. So with that game put to bed, let's move on to the next game.
The Cleveland Browns, the New Orleans Saints.
All right, this game, revenge game, written all over for Jameis Winston, and may gobble up a W. We've seen some line swingage in this one. New Orleans opened as a favorite. They are no longer the favorite because a lot of money came in on Cleveland and has shifted the line. The Browns now laying un punto, maybe go, with an over-under of 44 at BetMGM. And you are leaning on a line that you must have grabbed earlier in the week, didn't you?
Yeah, I bet the Browns earlier in the week. I like the Browns on the money line. I'm fine with the Browns anywhere, like as 1.5 point favorites, even if that's where they close. I don't want to get too crazy here with Cleveland, but this is perfect timing because right now I got the fight on the top TV and we got Rosie Perez, the GOAT, on the screen right there. So you know what time it is? Daddy wants, Daddy needs, Daddy got
yeah!
Give me the sledgehammer for this one. Yeah. So the Saints secondary right now is in shambles. They traded away Lattimore, and they finally got back in the win column, though. Thanks to the Riz last week, and I had the Saints last week, and I really liked them with an interim head coach. But I really wasn't impressed in that game. They had a 37% offensive success rate. Atlanta had a 53% success rate. It was just one of those fluky games in the National Football League. This week, though, right? The Saints get the Browns. And this is going to be the healthiest we've seen the Browns all season long. Jameis Winston revenge game. Cleveland's going to be close to full strength for the first time in a long time on the offensive and defensive line. Jack Conklin's been dealing with an injury. Wyatt Teller's been dealing with an injury. That's why this offensive line has been a huge letdown this season. But now you're going against the Saints, and I don't know how much pressure they're going to be able to get, right? We talked about the secondary already. You trade away Lattimore, but the other issue is they're not getting a whole lot of pressure. Right now, 28th in pass rush win rate. So I think that's going to mean that Jameis Winston's going to be operating from a clean pocket, going against that secondary with no Lattimore, with all these injuries, and it's going to be a huge game, as we've talked about multiple times this week, for Nick Chubb on the ground. You're going against a defense that's 29th right now in run-stop win rate, 31st in run defense DVOA, so I think it's going to be a big game finally for Nick Chubb, hopefully, as long as he's healthy enough to get it going. And then the Saints, I know it looks like they're going to get Eric McCoy back, their starting center, but still, they're 31st right now in pass block win rate, and you're going against Myles Garrett and that Browns defensive line who, yeah, there's been some regression from that defense, but not really the pass rush. Still 6th in pass rush win rate. If Derek Carr is under pressure without Olave and without Shaheed, I think we're going to get some turnovers in this game. And I like the Browns. Even in their loss, that blowout loss to the Chargers, the final score says 27-10, but it was fluky, man. They had a turnover on downs, a blocked field goal. They threw 3 picks in plus territory. So I think they bounce back this week off the bye. I love the Browns against the Saints to get back in the win column. That's my favorite bet this weekend.
All right, I see your sledgehammer, and I raise it. Daddy what? Yeah. Daddy need, Daddy gotta have it. Let's go.
It's too good. It's too good. What a matchup.
Oh, man, it is a glorious matchup, and it's going to be a glorious game for Cedric Tillman. I think he's going to be a top 15 fantasy player at the wide receiver position, and I'm a ladder this sucker, but for the sake of the show, I'm just going to take 60 or more receiving yards at now a minus 105 available there at BetMGM. I play in the 75 or more yards market, a little sprinkle on 100 or more yards. I think all are very much in play. Tillman should have a monster game. Last 3 games, he's gone for at least 75 yards. And over that stretch, 32 targets, 21 receptions. He's number 22 now on the season in average yards of separation per target. You look at New Orleans, yeah, they're middling, number 15 in pass EPAD over the last 5 weeks. But the key here is 10 guys have gone for 60 or more yards against them at wide receiver, and Alontae Taylor is the projected primary assignment for Cedric Tillman. Why is that important? No DB in the National Football League has allowed more yards than Alontae Taylor. He is the definition of a giver, a guy who's also surrendered a 78.6% catch rate and 122.3 passer rating to his assignment. So who's going to eat? Cedric the Entertainer, baby. I love everything Tillman over and over again. But for the sake of the show, again, I'm only betting one prop, 60 or more receiving yards at a minus 105.